How's it going, everybody? Psycho Last Valerian back again, and today it is finally the Talkin Tekken for Tekken 8. But of course, before we get into that, we have to do the inevitable, we have to do the obligatory, we have to do the now mandatory, we have to cross our fingers, we have to put our hands together, we have to close our eyes, and yes, I'm literally doing everything I just said, because we have to pray for DLC. And what we have to start off with is Eliza. So please tell me that Eliza is going to be playable. Oh, I'm not closing my eyes. Please tell me that Eliza is going to be playable in Tekken 8 at some point. Hopefully during Season 1. Oh, please. Because, man, I need her. I need her in this game. Like, this game is so fun to play, man. Like, every character I've played so far, I'm just like, I'm having so much fun with, like, well, it's most of the characters, I should say, that I've been playing. Like, I have a lot of fun playing them. So, I really hope that, I really hope she's going to be playable. I do. And of course, Michelle as well. I love Michelle, and I do want her to be playable also. Like, yeah, Julia's cool and everything, but I really want it to be Michelle. We had Julia from the previous game. You know what I mean? I mean, I understand that, I'm sure that Julia is probably, like, the more, like, the fan favorite, right? She probably, like, loved over her mom, but honestly, I love her mom so much. I love Michelle so much, so I hope that she's playable as well. So please, Eliza for DLC, playable in the future for Tekken 8, and please Michelle for DLC, playable in the future for Tekken 8. Now that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get on with it, man. Today's episode is going to be a lengthy one, as there is a lot to talk about. And yes, we're going to be talking about the Tekken Shop and my thoughts on that and my feelings on that, and it's going to be a lot, I feel, I'm going to have to say about it. You know, no, I'm not happy, but I mean, in some degree, I will defend it. I will defend them and their position. But also, I just have to say that I'm not okay with this in the slightest. I'm just not. I'm not okay with a company that releases a game that has a premium price attached to it, and then also decides that they're going to put like, you know, some kind of like microtransaction fill type of thing, because that's what it is. It's like, it is microtransactions. You can't spin it any other way. That's what that is. The Tekken Shop is going to be that. That is a problem. It's a huge problem when the game already costs $70 at base minimum, and I'm sure that this game has sold. I know the game has already sold over 2 million copies, and I'm sure that there's plenty of sales that came from the more expensive versions of the game. I myself, $100. I spent the $100. I bought the $100 edition of the game, which was I think the deluxe edition. I bought the deluxe edition of the game, and then there's the ultimate edition of the game. Okay, so I did that. I spent that, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that bought either that one or the more expensive version. Okay, but at base minimum, this thing is $70. And it sold 2 million units, or 2 million copies, within a month. Like, that's great. That's great numbers to hear. But still, very bad, I feel, that, you know, the company, or that you know, this whole Tekken Shop thing is coming. But we will get to that in due time. Right now, let's talk about the offline modes. Start with the offline modes. So, Arcade Battle is returned, and it's exactly as Arcade has always been in any fighting game, to be honest, but in this one as well. And just like Tekken 7, in the previous game, it was, you play through the game, play through a series of opponents, and you get to the final opponent, and then that's it. Game's over, right? That's it. No character ending, nothing like that. But at least in this game, they have something called character episodes. We'll get to more of that later on, but character episodes, they have endings, right? So, yeah, if you want endings, that's how you have to do it. So, you know, Arcade Battle, you play through, and you just kind of have the way the thing does, right? The way the thing goes. It just plays and plays, just like you would expect from any arcade battle. Now, there is something that I think it's safe to assume the speculation here, to assume this here. I feel like it is safe to say this, but I still don't know if it's 100% true, but I'm sure this is how it is. When you beat the story mode, at least I'm pretty sure you beat the story mode, or probably when you get to a specific point in the story mode, there are characters that are added to the arcade battle, right? So I don't think that this right here is a spoiler or anything, but with the arcade battle, when the final opponent is Cosmic, right? But the final opponent can change in the story mode to something else. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say, like, the different characters that you can face. Not a lot. It's only a couple. I don't even want to say how many, but it's very few that there's in there. But the fact that they are in there is really cool. I like it. It's a really cool addition to it. And during the story mode playthrough that I had, I was like, why can't you just do this? Why can't you play this character? Or why can't you play against this character when you're playing, like, in the arcade battle, right? Why can't you play against this character, right? You know, like, why can you do that? Well, basically, they did it, right? It's just you have to beat the story mode first in order to be able to unlock that, which is pretty cool. But the point being is that you do have a couple of extra battles. The only problem that I have with it, and something I hope that maybe they do in the future, is if they will make it to where after you face Kazuya, then you face, you know, one of those opponents that you can play, one of the other opponents, right? That'd be nice, because it would feel more like a final boss, because Kazuya just doesn't feel like a final boss, right? And that's because technically he's not really the final boss. So I would like it if they would just do that in the future, where you could hopefully get a, you know, a true final boss for that. That would be nice. But yeah, the arcade battle is what it is, right? Standard stuff, fight opponents, get to the end, game over, there you go, right? that's how that plays. And Super Ghost Battle here, as you can see, like I've been doing this right here. The Super Ghost Battle, just play against the learning AI, against your opponents. I think they've had Ghost Battles for quite some time, picking up on things, and in this game, I feel like, sure, it's more refined, but I don't know, like, sometimes I feel like the AI still input reads. I really do. Like, I feel like it's reacting to things like, dude, how are you doing this? Like, that was like frame 1, you just do that immediately. Like, piss off. But there are things where the game does do combos that I've done. Like, it will learn how I'm doing things and how I play, and it will play very similar to that. Like, what you just saw there with my June versus June, if I even include this, which, I mean, I'm gonna try to make sure I do, but there's probably some things I need to remove from this, because I don't really want to drag on too long, but I might have to have it drag on for a while, because, as I said, there's a lot to talk about. But, yeah, like, this was like early days with June, so, you know, it was just doing what I was doing there, and I was still trying to learn the character myself. But every time I face it now, it's like I just absolutely destroy it. I mean, I beat it there on my first shot, as you might have saw, and then I'm pretty sure I haven't lost to it once. But and I remember this from the individual that I played, the person that I played, Noctis, in the thing. I tried to skip past. The reason why I paused it there is because I tried to skip past the cutscene. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. You can't do that. That's why I did that. But the point is that the AI, or the AI learning and everything in this game, I feel like it's pretty good. You know, it does work, but I don't truly understand it. So I don't want to go too in depth about how the stuff works here. But I like it though. I like playing this mode. I'd rather play this than the arcade stuff. You know, even on hard mode. Because if I do keep that at the end of this video, then yeah, I have an arcade playthrough on hard that I did. But because it has one of those battles and everything, one of those opponents that you fight, I don't want to include it in the video, so I decided to go ahead and cut out that final battle there. But just know that it beat me once, but it wasn't able to do it again, because I would just do good with June. Because Mama June is the best. I love Mama June. But anyway, excuse me. Anyway, the Super Ghost Battle, it's good, right? And here we have Arcade Quest. I'm actually glad that I put it up the way I did, because I almost forgot to talk about this. Arcade Quest is this cute little mode where you get to play through the story mode of playing like a character that you create, a little avatar that you make yourself, design however you want. You know, the customization in this game is pretty good. Probably like maybe the best it's ever been in the series. But I like how you know the characters can be like the characters that you actually use in the game, like these characters here. Like I like how the characters are. I just as you can see right there, like Azucena doesn't usually look like this, but you know, now she got green hair. You know, if you want her to have green hair, well, you can have her have green hair. You can make that character have that. And the customization in the game is pretty good. I also did a little bit of customization with Yoshimitsu, so you'll see kind of like how that works there. So the customization for all that stuff is there, so kind of like got that out of the way. Not really too much in-depth I go into, and I feel like not too much to say to begin with that. But the Arcade Quest, like I said, it was a cute little mode. I liked it. You know, it's like you were playing like you were actually traveling around, right? Like you yourself, you're traveling around with this band of people that you met at the arcade, and you know you're trying to just become a great player, and it has a nice little story attached to it. I like that. Plus, it also has a tutorial mode in here that I honestly forgot to go into for this particular video. That's what it was, right? I meant to go into this. I meant to go into that, but I just did not do it. I apologize. But, you know, it's there. The tutorial mode is there throughout this game, throughout this mode here. So as you're playing through the arcade mode, or the arcade quest mode here, the arcade, or the tutorial is within this, it's embedded in here, teaching about the new mechanics, the new heat mechanics and whatnot, and just how Tekken's played overall. But I don't really know how well it describes everything. That was the problem, because I didn't actually play it. I forgot. I honestly forgot to do it. I kind of knew how to do everything, so I just kind of blazed through with a stream a couple weeks ago. But let's get back on topic. The Arcade Quest is a welcome addition because I feel like it's just another one of those fun little modes. I actually have the game on right now, so I can see. We talked about Arcade Battle. We talked about the Arcade Quest. Talked about the Super Ghost Battle a little bit. Tekken Ball. I started things off for Tekken Ball. So the Tekken Ball mode is pretty fun. I just don't have anybody that has ever come down recently to play this game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a lot of like fighting game enthusiast friends, right? Or enthusiastic friends, or however you would say that. I don't have a lot of friends that play fighting games to the level that I play fighting games, right? So, not much that I can do there, right? When people don't come down to play this particular mode with me. I don't know how it would be with friends, but I can just imagine it would be very fun. And I just don't think that they would really put like give like an online version to this thing because, I mean, why? I don't think that a lot of people would actually play this thing online, so I just don't think that it'd be the right choice to do. You know what I'm saying? But Tekken Ball is in there. There's the gallery mode where you can just check out, you know, like I'm pretty sure cutscenes from the game and all that. I will actually just bring it up right now so I can see. I can at least talk a little bit about that. Tekken 8. Yeah. So there are so you can watch cutscenes and everything that happen throughout the story mode of the game. Which now brings me to the story mode. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about anything that happens in the game because I don't like to have spoilers. I don't like to do that. I don't like to ruin things for people. But I will say that I'm pretty sure that you have to beat the story mode, as I said earlier. I'm pretty sure that you have to beat the story mode to be able to get those extra opponents throughout the thing. Because as I'm playing the story mode, I'm like, well, dude, why can't you just play this character, or why can't you fight this opponent when like during the arcade battle? Well, you can. You know, joke's on me, I guess. You know, egg on my face, I suppose. But there's also something else. I'm like, man, it would be really cool if they did that. And there was a mode, or at least a specific chapter, where they did something, and I'm like, it's so cool they included this. Like, it'd be really cool if it was like a fully fleshed out thing, but it was really cool they included that. I like that. And once again, don't want to spoil anything, but like the story mode offers more than just the standard fights, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, the the way it works is if you've played the NetherRealm games, or if you've played any NetherRealm game, like any kind of Mortal Kombat game or Injustice game, you kind of know how the story mode, you know, works in those games. Well, it's similar to this one here. Chapters plays whatever character you're playing as, wrapped in a whole cinematic experience, and of course focusing on what Tekken is about, which is, you know, of course goofiness and everything, but it can still be serious and still like take itself, you know, like serious and have dark moments and whatever, right? And emotional moments as well. But yeah, I just wrapped around the Mishima Kazama, you know, storyline, you know, that has always been about, you know. So you play through that. It's not super long. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I love it. There's some cute, quick time events in the game, some QTEs in there that I didn't expect, but pretty cool addition, and made for like some stylistic stuff. I felt, you know what I mean. I enjoyed my time with the story mode. I felt that it was really good. So anybody that loves like, you know, the offline experience, like Tekken has got you covered with plenty of that for the offline stuff. And I believe that might be it besides the practice mode. And I think we've already talked about that. We have Arcade Quest, Super Ghost Battle, Arcade Battle. I talked about that. Tekken Ball. The character episodes. I didn't talk about that yet, or at least in detail. Yeah, so any character that you choose, you'll be able to experience why that character has joined the King of the Iron Fist tournament. And you'll also be able to see like their character endings. So that's how you kind of get their character endings, by playing through about 5 different opponents, with some story elements involved, and also getting a cutscene at the end of their character episode. And I love that. I really do love that. I mean, it kind of sucks that there's no character endings for the arcade battle, but it's like, I feel like having like this separate thing with the story tab, because on the main menu you have the story tab, I think that it works. I think it works being like this instead of, you know, doing the other thing, because I'd rather have the arcade battle just be there and just be like classic arcade stuff, right? You're just playing the series of opponents and you're just beating the game and that's it. You know, that's kind of how it should be when it comes to the arcade mode. It's standard, it should be there, it's mandatory, and it's there. You know, but the character episodes are definitely a welcome addition because it just expands upon any character that's in the game. So that way, with character DLC that comes, they should probably be doing the same. I think they hinted at that when it came to the Tekken Talk Live that they did, that live stream that they did. So I'm pretty sure that we'll be having that. But when it comes to the customization, I mean, you can see a little bit here, like the customization, I've mentioned it before, we're not going to be going too much into too much detail about it, but I like the way the customization is in the game. It's pretty good. You can, have different aura effects and whatnot if you want, as you can see on the screen there. Like, hopefully I link this thing up properly. I mean, if I have to remove some things to try to, save some time, because I would like to be able to save time, but probably going to be about 40 plus minutes here, unfortunately. I do apologize, but there's a bit to say, man, and I definitely have to. I may not have, like, the largest platform, but I have a platform here on YouTube, and I have to use that to say I'm not okay with premium price games having like extra shit that you have to pay for and all that, you know what I mean? Like, when there's already DLC, you know what I mean? And the game sells as well as it does. But I'm just not okay with that. I'm not okay with it, but it is what it is. Not much I can do. I feel like not much I can do except for just, express my displeasure and just express my disappointment with stuff like that. But let's talk about the practice mode a little bit here, not go into too much detail. I do have a clip here showing that. But yes, the practice mode is as robust as you would hope that it would be, and I feel probably the best that the practice mode has ever been in the Tekken franchise. It still has, like, the classic stuff of, being able to see, like, obviously the moves list of the characters and the demonstrations that you can do just by, like, clicking on the move inside the move list, and then it'll have, like, a demonstration of the thing being played. You have the ability to press a triangle or Y, but press a specific button, and then you can practice that specific combo with the instructions on screen, or at least the combo on screen, so you can do that. But other nice features that it has the returning punishment training feature from the previous Tekken, where you can just practice against whatever character that you're using against a character of your choice. Maybe you're struggling with Reina because she's a new character, or possibly Victor because he's a new character, right? So you don't understand, like, the move set that these two characters have. So you go in here, practice that stuff, and then there you go. You'll be able to figure out what you could do, what your options are against that. Always nice. Plus, you can, of course, record situations. So if you saw somebody do something, all right, they did this right here, so what is that? You go through the list of the moves the character has, you choose that, and then you practice on doing that, and then set up the same type of situation. Plus, you can also just go into the defensive part of the training, which is how you can do the recording and all that. But you can have the character or the AI opponent just, like, specifically choose the list or select a move from the list. I do believe I demonstrated that in the thing, but you can select a move and then make that character do that move again and again and again. And then just, once again, see what your options are, see how to get around it, all that type of stuff. But the practice mode, I love it. I can't praise it enough. Like, it's absolutely amazing. Right? And of course, the game overall, I have to say, is absolutely amazing. Which is another reason why it just bothers me so much that they're adding what they're adding there. But before we move on to the Tekken Shop and what the Tekken Shop is going to be, right, and what I've heard of it and all that type of stuff, and how disappointed I am, we are going to talk about the online a little bit, because I have played the online, and with this game here, as I am following it, this will be the first part, actually, the first part of the Tekken 8, or the Talkin Tekken thing for Tekken 8, because as there's going to be different seasons, no doubt about it, they're going to have more than one season. They're going to support this game probably for a few years, so by the time one season ends, then another Tekken, or another Talkin Tekken episode will pop up, and I'll be talking about what I love, talking about what I enjoyed, all that. But the online is great. It feels so good. I'm pretty sure the Maximilian dude, he can definitely explain this a lot better than I can, but I'm pretty sure he said something along the lines of there's a delay that they specifically put into the game to where it's like when you're playing, you may not notice it, but it's like there's a certain delay to where when you're playing offline, when you're playing online, as long as the connection is good, it's going to have that same experience, right? You're going to have that same type of thing, because like, it feels perfectly fine. When this game is played, like, when I'm playing this game, like, I'm having, like, I feel no issues. Like, I feel like I have, like, no issues in terms of, like, input delay or anything like that. I really love how this game feels online. And I've played a little bit of the different modes that the game provides. I tried the Tekken Lounge. It's the similar experience that other games have had recently, things like Street Fighter 6, for example, right? I know there's Arc Systems games that have these types of lobbies and everything, where you kind of walk around in this little virtual world with your avatar and find other players and play them and all that type of stuff. Like, it's really cool. You can communicate with other players and everything. It's a nice little thing, a nice little feature that the game has. And you're just playing player matches, having a great time. It has group match, which I don't really understand how the group match works. I don't know. It just feels kind of like a player match to me. because right after I did that, there's a video I did where I was getting the platinum trophy, and I only had to play win one group match and then win one player match, and I only played one for both, and that was it. So that was my limited experience with the other modes from the game. With the ranked, I have played a lot. I mean, if you've been watching the ranked session, you know that I played a lot, and you've actually seen every online match that I've played so far. I have not skipped over one match. I haven't, just not used a match because I'm like, oh my god, like I was too salty here. Like, yes, I've been salty and I hate that, and just bear with me. I apologize for that. I do. I'm still trying to work on that, still trying to learn, but it is what it is. I get salty, but that's neither here nor there. The online mode feels great. Like, playing online, no matter what, as long as the connection's good, you're good. And I haven't really come across like a really bad connection, but the game does feel pretty damn good from being online to offline. And when it comes to the online, it does tell you like how many frames of rollback it has, how many frames of delay there's going to be, and in the bottom right hand corner, I think. But it does give you that information as well, and it just kind of constantly updates you and feeds you that information that you need. So yeah, the game is so good to play online. The game is so good to play in general, and there's plenty here for any player at all. So like overall, with everything that Tekken 8 is, right, before they implement this Tekken Shop and everything else, right, it's a fantastic experience. Tekken 8 is a phenomenal game. For me, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. If I reviewed games, it's an easy 10 out of 10. It's an easy 5 out of 5. It's an easy, like, just a perfect game because it has everything. And eventually it's going to have even more when it comes to the Tekken Shop. Now, I do believe I have run over everything that needs to be said, as I've talked about the online, the offline, and the story stuff, right? And of course the customization as well, right? And other little things that the game can do, plus the music stuff that you can do, the jukebox as well. Like, you can change the music of things to, like, from past Tekken games, every Tekken game, and that's of course a nice feature that's in the game, and I really, really love that. And something I forgot to say, because it's actually about to come up here in a moment, combo challenges. There are combo challenges for every character in the thing. I've already done one with Nina recently. I put a video up of that. Probably going to do one with June. I think I'm about to show June, but I haven't done them yet. And I was like, I could do it for this, but I'm not going to do it for this. I'm actually going to have like commentary when I do it, similar to my Nina one. Because I love June. I think June is awesome, and I feel like June is probably going to be my main, so probably going to just do that for June. To treat June special, because Mama June deserves it. But anyway, let's get on with it, because now it comes for the thing I don't really want to talk about, because I know it's probably going to turn people off, and people probably don't even want to watch this part or even like listen to this part. But this has to be talked about. It does, and I'm not gonna lay into it too hard, because I really don't feel that like any developer, to be honest, wants to do this type of crap like all the time, right? Or really like shoehorn in this crap that they know is gonna piss people off, right? Especially with things like Mortal Kombat 1. Like, I mean, I just don't think that NetherRealm Studios is like, hey, what would be really great is if we start charging like $10 for fatalities and $10 for just one skin, $10 for this or that, right? Like $10 for just one tiny thing in the game, right? Like, I feel that, yeah, I feel that any developer doesn't want to do shit like that. I just really feel they're not gonna want to do things like that. However, they still need to make the money. So, I mean, I guess in their defense, there are some things that Michael Murray, I'm pretty sure his name is Michael Murray. I'm just going to call him Murray for right now, because that's the name I do remember from him. But I'm pretty sure that Murray was saying things like, I mean, I'll go to the defense and kind of agree with some things that they say, something that he said. But I still think that, like, the game, because it sold the game is $70 and it sold 2 million. 2 million in 1 month. 2 fucking million in 1 month. Like, this is for this one game here. Like, this is what Bandai Namco made that money from. So they take their money, they take whatever cut they need to take for themselves, right, to be able to keep the lights on in the building and all that, right, and pay their employees. But also, it's like they take what they made off of the game and say, here is a development cost that you have for more DLC for the game. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I understand every little tiny detail about how game development works, or really, I'm not going to pretend that I understand anything about it, right? But then again, it's like, at the same time, I mean, can I really be that wrong? When something sells 2 million copies, when it's at $70 minimum, and there's no doubt in my mind that plenty of people purchase the, at least more than one person, more than myself, I should say, purchased the more expensive versions of the game. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't really think that the game, or I don't really think that it really needs to have a premium shop, but it's just, I do feel that the company is not, or like the dev team is not coming from a malicious standpoint where they're trying to just, you know, make money for the sake of making money, because I'm pretty sure that Murray said something like that, but then again, it's like, why would he say like, yeah guys, I mean, we're doing this because we need money, and we just want money, right? I'm sure that he wouldn't say that anyway, he wouldn't be able to say that anyway, and I just don't think that's how it would be to begin with. I just don't think, like, they would specifically do something like that. I just don't, right? And if I can hopefully wrap this thing up in about 4 minutes here, I should be able to save y'all some time to where this thing isn't 40 minutes or 40 plus minutes, but I might not be able to do that. But I'm just saying that they introduced this Tekken Shop thing. It's going to be coming, I think, sometime in March, I believe. I'm not entirely sure when their next DLC character, or the first DLC character, is going to be coming, but they did show off Eddie during that live stream as well, so we at least got to see what Eddie looks like in action. We got to see, you know, some other like interesting things about the game, right? They were showing off like things, not like in-game stuff, but I mean, like they were showing other cool things, like what the hell was it? They were showing off like collector's items that you can get. Like there's soundtrack that's available. There are like these posters and everything. There are shirts that you can get, and also some of the shirts and everything, I think, or all the shirts can actually be earned or can actually be bought in game. You know, through of course this Tekken Shop thing. But they did mention that there are going to be free items, so maybe some of those things, or possibly even all of those, like those collaboration thingies, right, might be free. I don't know. I mean, we obviously don't know how the thing is going to be yet, but they're going to be free items, and they're going to be paid items. Now, the way that they described this was that, like, at least the stuff is like not like super expensive, and it's like, well, I'm going to be real with you. $4 for one costume is not very expensive, especially when you take into consideration their competitors, right? They didn't specifically mention their competitors, but I certainly will. So when you take into consideration their competitors like NetherRealm Studios and Mortal Kombat 1 and Capcom with Street Fighter 6, when you take into consideration that for one costume and one purchase, as long as you can actually purchase these things for just the $4, right, and you don't have to spend like a certain amount of money to be able to get like a certain amount of things, right? Because that's the problem. You see, with Tekken or with Street Fighter 6, you have to buy, I do believe, the $12 thing. Like I would check it out right now, but I feel like it's to be too much right there. So you have to buy something that's like $12 to be able to get just one thing, right? Because you can only get, I think, like $250 or $280, right? So you have no choice but to spend at least $10 or $12 to be able to get more, to be able to just basically afford just one, right? So you have to spend enough to be able to technically, I think, buy two to get one, or to get two. It's a bit confusing, and it's very bad the way Capcom designed that. Plus, there's also no bundle to save you any money. They have like fight tickets in Street Fighter 6, for example, and they have it to where you can buy a color bundle, to where if you bought every single costume that's in there, it would actually cost you, I think, around like 7,000, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's like 7,000, right, or more. But it's like, I think it's like 6,300 or 6,700. It saves you a bit if you buy the bundle, like the color bundle for like the characters' costumes and all that kind of stuff. So you'll be able to do all that, right? But you can't spend those fight tickets on costumes, of course, like the third costume, obviously, because they want the money for that, which really sucks. But at least there's like a bundle option that saves you money, right? Which is nice. But here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. Even though $4 for just one costume, if that's just going to be the base price right there, or the normal price, and it's not going to be higher than that, $4 for one costume isn't that bad. However, the problem is, if you do this, you are basically telling the company, I'm okay with this, and I'm going to do this. And I feel like I might want to do this if a character like Michelle came in, because I don't really have a huge nostalgic connection to Tekken, really. Like, even though I played like Michelle like way back in 2015, almost a decade ago, and that hi-ya thing is still burnt into my brain. Fucking sound off in the comments section. Hi-ya for life, right? But you know, that hi-ya is still stuck in my brain, and I love that so much. You know, and I'd love to be able to see her, like, her classic costume and everything. Michelle's not in the game, And they could probably just give her that classic costume anyway without having to charge it. They could do that, and I mean, they might. I don't know if they would, but they might. But the point is, like, they could just do that. Crap. I apologize. I don't know if it's still... Hold on a minute. Is it? It is. Okay. I was talking for over a minute, and that's just how my my computer is. It goes dead like that. I need to change that. Sorry. Anyway, now we are on the arcade battle, so now I have to have this damn thing in here, and I can't even really, I feel like I can't even edit it out. Alright, so now I have to wrap this up because we have about 9 minutes. But the point is, like, $4 is not really a lot. My point I was trying to make is that, like, $4 times, like, 20 plus characters is a hell of a lot of money, and we're talking, like, exceeding the price of the game itself. Right, even exceeding some of those deluxe versions, right, the deluxe prices, like deluxe and even like more expensive version, more expensive ultimate edition of the game as well. Like once you talk about every single character that is in the game, I mean, even if you take out the fact that like, I think around 3 or 4 of the characters' base roster are new characters, because I don't think that Azucena has ever been in the game before. I don't believe so. I don't recognize Azucena. I think this might be new, and I didn't really notice that at first until I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I've ever seen her before. But that's the thing, I'm not like extremely familiar with Tekken. I only ran through the games, and of course, like if Julia was playable, I was playing Julia. If Michelle was playable, I was definitely playing Michelle. You know what I mean? And obviously with Tekken 7, I was playing Eliza. You know. But the problem is, I don't believe that Azucena has been in the game before, so it's like there's a few characters that don't have those legacy costumes. But there are plenty of legacy costumes they can have for other mainstays, like Xiao Yu, for example, on screen here. Like, they can have, like, plenty of things for her. You know, her Tekken 1 look, her Tekken 2 look, her Tekken 3 look, 4, tag, everything. They can have all these different things costing $4 a piece every single time. Like, so I feel that, yes, $4 may not seem like a lot, but $4 I feel is a bit too much. Maybe they can lower that down. Or perhaps they can have it to where you can save money and buy all these legacy costumes. Or perhaps when they introduce all these things, maybe down the line they can have a bundle for all the legacy costumes for Tekken 1, 2, 3, tag, everything else, right? You know, and so on and so forth. Right. It would be nice if they can do that and then have it at a reasonable price. Because yes, once again, $4, I agree, is not a lot. But at the same time, you know, when every single character can potentially have so much, it's going to be a lot. It's going to add up. Those numbers are going to add up, and that is the problem right there. And if you really want to be able to have all this stuff in the game, and it's going to cost you real money to buy it, and you're spending like hundreds and hundreds of dollars after the fact, that's kind of nuts. That's the reason why, oh, if you don't want it, don't buy it. That's the reason why that mindset is not a good mindset to have. It's not as simple as that. It isn't. It really isn't. But I don't really think there's too much else to say beyond that, honestly. I'm disappointed that this thing was implemented a month after the game came out, after all the glowing reviews and all the praise the game has gotten, because it truly deserved it, I'll be real with you, man. But I can't say that the game, like, doesn't... I now can't say the game doesn't have microtransactions. You know, it doesn't. It has banana pudding, but it does not have microtransactions. Or I can't say that anymore, because now it has microtransactions. Now it's going to have them. It's going to be implemented in the game, and it's going to come after the fact, because that's what it seems a lot of companies do. Resident Evil, or Capcom did it with Resident Evil 4 last year, where the game came out, glowing reviews, and then there were these microtransactions they decided to throw in the game, which, sure, were literally optional, just like how Devil May Cry has the ability to buy red orbs, for Christ's sake. Why would they have that? But they do, you know? But it's like, it's always, it's optional. It's like, why do you even have the fucking option anyway? Why? You can earn plenty of red orbs in Devil May Cry 5. You don't need that. You can earn, like, you can play through the game of Resident Evil 4 and get whatever it is. I forgot exactly what the hell it is, because it's so irrelevant. It's so unnecessary to have. And with stuff like this, they could have just had it in the game, or just sold it as DLC and not put a premium price or a premium store in their game. They could have just had, like, reasonably priced bundles without doing that. And also, of course, try to make it clear, because I really feel the company is trying to make it as crystal clear as possible. They're not trying to be predatory. And I will defend them on that. I really don't feel they are trying to be predatory, but that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is, this game already has a premium price attached to it. You know, and they've already made a couple $1 million. Or like several $1 million, I feel, because like, dude, the thing sold fucking, like, this thing is at base price $70, and then they sold 2 million copies. That's a lot. That's a lot. I just cannot imagine. I honestly cannot imagine that the game needs to have that. Or that the game needs to have a premium shop. That they need to have all that type of stuff to, you know, cover the cost of development. I understand that things are like that. And there are some people out there that will say that, like, oh, it was just like copy and paste from the previous game. No, it's not. It's not a copy and paste from the previous game. They can't just go back to like Tekken 1 or 2, for example, right? And take the skin from that game and then just slap it in here with like an HD coat of paint. No, they actually have to work on it. They have to specifically work on it. I get that. However, once again, this game sold 2 million copies. I can't repeat that enough. This game sold 2 million copies, and it's at $70 at the minimum. And there's no doubt in my mind that plenty of those sales came from either the Deluxe or Ultimate Edition, which is almost $100 for one, and over $100 for the other. Okay, not including tax, $100 for one, over $100 for the other. Okay, and that's US dollars for me. I don't know how much it is in other countries, but the point is, this thing sold a lot. So they made a lot, to where I'm sure that the company can still pocket it, to where the company still thrives. You know, that way, like, that way all the people at the top, they get their money and everything. The dev team gets their money for working on the game, and then they can say, here, this is what we have now for the rest of the game, like for the development cost of anything else, DLC, extra costumes, extra content, extra anything, right? For this game, here it is, right? But I digress. I feel that I've talked enough about it. I feel that it was coherent enough, as I know I have problems with that type of stuff, trying to keep things coherent, trying to keep things proper. I do apologize, of course, for my I'm just gonna say goofiness, my goofiness. All right, we're just gonna say that. Try to keep it lighthearted. You know what I mean? Try not to like talk bad about myself. I try to do it for jokes, of course. So you know, don't get too bent out of shape about it. You know, don't say, oh, Psycho, you shouldn't talk like that about yourself. You don't understand. Like that's putting out negative energy about yourself, dude. Fuck off. I'm a fat fuck. All right, I don't care. I'm a fat negative fuck. That's what I am. but I'm not. I'm not like that. I'm not like that. I'm really not. But the point is that I feel like I've covered everything, and I don't like the fact that a premium shop is being added, that they're gonna have microtransactions in this game, and it bothers me. It just bothers me because I love this game and I can't praise it enough, man. But I have to call things out like that. I really do. When things like that happen, I have to call it out, and I will. But the thing is, this game is fantastic, regardless of this fucking shop that's coming, which really bothers me. But I've already said that enough. But what I haven't said yet, what we will do now, is I'll allow you to join the rest of this video here. But this is Psycho Last Valerian wishing you the best, thanking you all for watching, especially if you watched during all that there, right? Especially if you guys listened to what I had to say. I appreciate that. Very much so. I, of course, appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video, or any video of mine. You know, and especially if you're subbed and all that, right? You have the notifications turned on. You're an angel, and I love you all for it. But anyway, once again, Psycho Last Valerian, thanking you all for watching, wishing you the best. I hope that you take care, hope that you have a good one, and hope to see you in the next video, or stream. Peace!
Round 2. As we wait for the smoke to clear and we watch our dreams appear, I know that we can rise together. This vision that we share is ours. Together we can touch the stars. I know that we will see December.